price. I have a daughter, one. Any day she's going to get married, nobody's paying a dime. So I'm against bride price. That is me. You understand? So my sister recently got married. When they called me, but I didn't go, oh, how much is bride price? I say, guy, give them 100 naira there. I'm not selling my sister. Go. But there are people that will bring all these lists, buy this one, buy this one. For me, some of these things, we need to push them away. So there are things in tradition I will support. There are some I'm not interested. But I'm somebody that stands for humanity. Whatever that will make you happy. I shouldn't just bring a tradition, a religious thing, and then heap it on you, even while you're crying. The burden is there. And then I say, but that is what tradition, or this is what our religion demands, so you must do it. And even when I can see that the weight is killing you. So I'm for humanity.
Mazi, the hybrid.
Thank you.
That explains that explains why you have a Mazi, but you have a Destiny. What was the middle name again? Chima, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Just in case you are wondering what's going on in the studio, today is Monday, and so from the 10 o'clock hour, we get into our town hall discussions. Yeah. That's why you have one of our esteemed elders here in the studio with us already this morning. We're expecting hopefully one or two. Hopefully the rain didn't deter them from coming. So we're looking forward to, it'd be nice to hear from Mr. Elvis.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Dr. Usang, and of course, our lovely lady compliments of the eldership. Madam Oyi. Yes, Madam Oyi, that Lolo. And Madam Eunice, this is us greeting you very specially.
We are hailing you.
We understand if you can't make it today.
No worry,
I hope you're doing well.
She will settle us with cake.
We were the ones that will settle her, Mazi.
No, she's the mother in the house.
All right, very special greetings to all of our elders. And just as I was, we're talking about this thing about what is... what the youth are doing, especially today in these times. We have seen situations where they have looked at what they have, despite the challenges that bedevil them here in this part of the world. They always try and do better. Now, our conversation today is looking at what the FCT has done. They've been talking about it for a couple of days, especially since the protest broke out. We had the minister come out to say, oh, yes, we hear you. You've been clamoring for a youth secretariat. And now we have that. And a few days ago, we're also aware that they have officially sworn in the mandate secretary of the youth secretariat. And so we're going to be discussing what the opportunities are for youth in the FCT with the emergence of this youth secretariat. Mr. Angus Suleiman Abdullahi is the pioneer mandate secretary to be sworn in for this. But we know that the youth are a very important part of our society, but are there really opportunities in this, or was this a political move? Those are the questions we're going to be answering in the course of the conversation today. To get us started, let me just give you that very, very quick rundown as to what happened. First of all, there was the swearing in of the mandate youth secretary, as well as 4 other permanent secretaries by the FCT minister some days ago. And he said all of this was done because the youth had been clamoring for this. Let's take a listen to what exactly was said, and we'll come back and have that conversation. Stay with us.
Secretariat. The Abuja residents, indigents have clamored for the establishment of the youth secretariat by Mr. President. During our interface and discussions with the various area councils, we did communicate to them that Mr. President had agreed to, of course, establish youth secretariat that will cater particularly for the youth. And let me say clearly here, Mr. President did not on his own, neither did I on my own or the Minister of State, choose the appointee. All the area councils were fully involved and made the recommendation to us. then that recommendation was taken to Mr. President for his approval. And so that you will not say that you are not party, to the consultation before the appointment. All the 6 area councils were fully involved, stakeholders were fully involved before this appointment was made. What this underscores, and which we have always said, that when Mr. President makes promise, he keeps to his word. That is why we have always said we should be patient. That yes, this may be difficult today, but people are working hard, Mr. President is working very hard to make sure to cushion the hardship that all of us are facing. Having appointed you as a mandate secretary for youth, it's not just to be happy. You must sit down, robustly come out with a program that will help the youth. What we have found out is that most people are only interested by the fact that I've been given an appointment. Sit down. What do I do that will help the youth of Abuja? That is key. You are the Pioneer Mandate Secretary. You must use it to say, while I was there as the Pioneer Mandate Secretary, this was my program for the interest of the youth. Mr. President has fulfilled his own part. It is for you now to sit down and work with us and work with me and say, look, these are the programs we think that will help the youth. We think will make the youth to be entrepreneurial in nature, will help them to reduce the effects of hardship that they are facing. If anything happens otherwise, you'll be held responsible.
All right, welcome, and thank you for staying with us, rather. You just heard from the FCT minister himself, the appointment of this official swearing in of Mr. Ango Abdullahi Suleiman. Yes, that's who we have as our mandate secretary for the FCT. Now, remember, the minister, when he was speaking, said, himself and the president didn't just wake up and decide to create this secretariat. He said there had been clamors for it. And he also said that they were not, they didn't act independently in determining who this mandate secretary was. That is Mr. Ango himself. He said, look, we have done everything because the youth of the FCT have been asking for it. As a matter of fact, one of the places where this first of all came to the news was when he said, look, this is what we need, and I would rather do this than have you people hit the streets and protest. He made this promise at a town hall meeting around the first week of August, right? All of that to dissuade the residents from participating in the planned nationwide protest over hunger and hardship. And he said this promise was a response to a call by youth representatives at the meeting on the need for a youth secretariat in the FCT to address issues relating to youth development and empowerment. Let me start with you, Mazi. Let's get your initial take on this. Again, we're saying, yes, the youths, they are a very important part of our population, right? But aren't there other existing what they call it now, developmental agencies who are catering to the needs of the youth? Do they need a mandate secretary? Now, this has happened. What can we expect from them? Are there opportunities, or was this just a political move? Let's hear from you, sir.
Good morning, Abuja. The Ministry of Youth and Ministry of Sports, I think you have youth stuff under it as well. Mm-hmm. What can the youth say that they've benefited from that ministry? For me, I think this is a political move. I'm a very strong supporter of Nyesom Wike as FCT minister. But I think this is a political move. And the reason why I said that is this. Anytime that you have, whether the NSAS protest, whether the end bad governance protest, the one that just passed, where you know that majority of the people who will be on the street are the youth. So I do not think that this is what we need. And I don't know the youth who asked, create a secretariat for us. I didn't hear that. I didn't see any of them. But I do not think that this is what the youth need. I think what they need now is an environment that can help them, flourish. Those of them who are talented in one way or the other, they need environment that won't let their talents die with them. Today, you just asked me something about photography. Today, our youth go on, they are earning so much money, more than people who are doing the, 9-to-5 work, or what do you call it? On YouTube, you see them with their cameras, just with one smartphone. They can create content, and then make money off our social media platform. But these same politicians, well, I'm not going to say this happened under administration of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think that was under the last administration, when we had Lai Mohammed as Minister of Information. You were not trying to, choke life out of that space. Remember the Twitter issue now, when we couldn't access Twitter just because you feel, why are they criticizing government? Why are they attacking government through that platform? And you have a lot of youths who make shoes, they make clothes, is on these social media platforms where they go market those things and make money. There is a guy who used to make clothes for me. Somi was on Instagram that I saw him. Just saw what it. Before I met that guy, I've bought close to almost 8 or 9 clothes from him. Before we finally just came to Barnes, let me come and see this guy. Young guy. Do you understand me? But he's very good at his craft. I know another lady who makes sandals and shoes. This is a lady. She's somewhere in Delta State. From normal social media, she's making money off it. Now, you can't create jobs for them. You can't create opportunity for them to go to school. Take, for instance, now, I do not think that this is necessary. You promised to give us a loan for because people who will even benefit from this student loan that Mr. President, promised us during campaign, and he has, reiterated that since he was sworn in as the president, this student loan thing, so that a lot of them who you don't have anybody, you don't have a father, or maybe your parents are poor, they can't afford to pay for your education, you can access this loan and then go to school. When are we going to have that? I don't think that this is what we need, this secretariat. So for the FCT, you've talked about creation of jobs and all of that. How do we go about doing it in the FCT? Or do you think that this youth secretariat cannot fill in this role? This youth secretariat is just, for me, another opening to settle, some, boys, your political boys. I don't think it's going to affect anybody in FCT. You don't need a secretariat, another structure. You make budget for it, then they will keep spending money on necessarily. You know what they need. Create this student loan thing. But the student loans have well, some would say, according to news reports, that they have been. I'm not just. I haven't been able to confirm yet, but the news reports have it that monies have been disbursed. But beyond the student loan, what else do you think? Because when we look at youth in the FCT, we know that we have a teeming population, but we also need to look at it across board, right? There are youth from all the different strata of our society. You have the ones who can even afford to go to school. Those are the ones you'll be talking about the NEL fund for. What about the ones that cannot go to school? What about the ones that you see littering the streets? Over the last couple of months, reports have been made about a lot of youth presence, however negative, around certain parts of FCT, whether the Jabi area, the Jabi axis. We've heard reports about that. Young, vibrant kids, a lot of them, of course, from the north. Then you also have the ones that the parents have now turned to career beggars along the street. So what would you say would be the direction that the FCT minister should be looking at, if not, through using the youth secretariat to tidy this up? Or, again, like I said,
the youth secretariat, perhaps you're looking at it because it is a proliferation somehow.
Yeah.
And I say proliferation because I know that even under the FCTA, we have the FCT Social Development Secretariat.
Yeah.
An administrative structure under the FCTA established in 2004. I'm sure a lot of Abuja residents don't even know this. We have a whole social development secretariat, and one of their key mandates, in fact, the very first of their mandates is handling matters of youth development. So yes, we know that, okay, we have the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we have this social development secretariat, now we're having a youth secretariat. Yes, it might seem like it's a proliferation, but can't you see some sort of potential that may come out of this, as far as FCT youth specifically?
This particular other office that you just mentioned,
the Social Development Secretariat.
Why not go pick that particular one, brush it up, remove the dust, and whatever it is that has covered it, the fund that you're going to push into this new structure, send that fund there. Call them back and tell them, this is what I want you to, do for the youths in FCT. So me go to, I've forgotten the name of this center, if you're close to that AP Plaza Junction, one popular garden like that, go there at night and see our boys playing basketball. Go to Area 10. I don't know if they've demolished that place. Those of them who play table tennis. You can harvest a lot of guys there, support them through the Ministry of Youth, and then let them abroad. Most of our people who represent, I hope you heard that some of the people who won medals for the Olympic has finished, right?
Yeah, yes.
They are Nigerians.
For other countries, right?
For other countries,
because we didn't
Nigerians.
come home with the
In
medal.
fact, one of them, I heard that he came here, we didn't even give her attention or the support. Another country picked her. Now she won medal for them.
So you're maintaining that this is highly unnecessary?
We are not. This is just a waste of. Maybe we are looking for a way to reduce cost of governance. Why are we creating more? Why are we creating more?
Well, let's see what other people have to say about the matter. The phone lines are open. Please do well to join us on this conversation. We are looking at the creation of the Youth Secretariat and, of course, the recently sworn-in mandate secretary of this secretariat, Mr. Ango Suleiman Abdullahi, who has been tasked by the FCT minister to ensure that he delivers, especially seeing as he's the first to do this, to fill in this role.
Before you if you go to GSM Village now, or you go to Banex Plaza, you find young guys through their laptop, or these IT guys who are techie. Your phone, that so many things you don't know on this phone, those guys with their laptop can help fix it. What are you doing to, encourage them to pick other youths from the street? So some of them will finish. Somebody, I know a few who they've learned that thing. What they need probably is a UK used laptop, not even a brand new one that you can get for like 200-300K. Can government help them, give it to them as loan? Or you can be paying us 15,000 every month until you finish paying for the laptop. Now they will go there, learn that thing, nobody to give them fund. They will start hanging around. Before you know it, you say they are involved in one crime or the other. We have so many things that we can do to help the youth. We don't need all these offices.
Okay, let's take some calls, and then I will read out what the mandate secretary has come out to say, that they are launching a youth development policy to further the activities of this secretariat. I'll come back to that, but let's get to the phone lines very quickly. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Destiny Anthony.
Morning, sir.
I greet you, Somi.
Good morning.
Mr. Destiny, thank you for making me be the king of what's happening in Abuja. Let me use this opportunity to thank every one of you. God bless you all. God bless you all. The fight is on. Thank you to you, my brother. You have said it all. And this Mr. Usangforgod too. Minister Wike, good morning. Just like what Mr. Destiny Anthony said, I don't think we need office. We have access to the youth on the office of president, vice president, governors. What is the impact? What we need from you people is to create jobs. All this is avenue to just cycle money. SA youth, chairman of youth, mandatory secretary on youth. On what again? On what to create? Is it to create jobs or to gather news? And we need to ask these people. We don't need all this. All this is just avenue of it. You know why? Because there's a lot of money in Nigeria. That's why. Look at this in Adamawa. The governor appointed 47 people as SA on media. Media. They want to satisfy all of them. They have been doing it. We can get for the one.
They will
our king, sir. Mr. Daniel, Please try calling us back. It started off well, and then after a while, we couldn't hear you again. Okay, we are definitely going to take more calls and your responses on this matter. We have also a report about the youth development policy, which the newly sworn-in mandate secretary for the Federal Capital Territory Youth Development Secretariat, Abdullahi Ango, has said that they will come up with to address issues in the FCT. Interesting that they said that they will come up with it. I would have thought that they already had come up with something that would enable us look at it so that we can properly answer these questions. More on this after this break. Stay with us.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Thank you for staying with 95.1 Nigeria Info. Welcome back to our town hall meeting where we are discussing the newly appointed mandate secretary for the Youth Secretariat and the Youth Secretariat in its entirety, trying to find out if there are any opportunities there, or is it just another one of those agencies or departments that has been created. Is it necessary, given that there is an existing Ministry for Youth and Sports Development? Is it necessary, given that in the FCT we have a Social Development Secretariat, which caters to matters of youth, and not just youth, but youth development amongst its other mandates? The youth development arm of, or rather the youth development function of the Social Development Secretariat, they aim to inculcate knowledge, skills, and positional attitudes in FCT youth between 15 to 29 years of age for self-reliance and nation building, as stipulated in the revised National Youth Policy of Nigeria 2019 to 2023, which was launched well over 4 years ago. And so in the 4 years, have they done anything? Or is it that what they're doing is so much that we need the Youth Secretariat to consolidate on their efforts? This is a situation, and that's what we're discussing. And Dr. Usangforgod has joined us in the studio. Good morning, sir.
Abuja.
Come on now.
Nice to meet you once again. Elder Chima. Uncle D. Yes, thank you to Nigerian Info Management for this privilege. I will never take it for granted.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So, it's 2 against 1. Lolo, you do me this one again today. I'm not sure if it was the rain that held you, but we appreciate you still. If you can join us, Lolo, you tried to do that last week. If you're listening, you can join us via the WhatsApp line. So 00999301337. Perhaps you can join us virtually. Let's create some balance, especially because we need a woman's voice on this matter of youth.
Yes.
It's possible that our manly elders in the studio, are looking at it from the point of, perhaps we need a softer touch. I'll see if I can. Okay, some messages here before we get back to the conversation. Mazi, Dr. Usangforgod of the Most High God, I greet you all wholeheartedly. Deeper from Kado with that one. You didn't put your name, but he says, Mazi's laugh, they make me laugh. God help you.
like him laugh.
The name was Alfred from Muse says, good morning, guests in the studio. Good morning, Somi. That Secretariat for Youth is a waste. Our youth need breathing space. Most of them are making money online in advertisement, sales, crypto legitimately. The police should stop harassing our youth on the road for owning smartphones. Okay. Greetings, Somi and Mazi DA. Please add DCA to that. It takes politicking to grab and hold on to power. Banky from Mutako says. He says APC and PDP were trounced by Labour Party in the last national elections, were they? He says, and the creation of a youth secretariat gives the APC more leverage to the youth. The dilemma now is Minister Wike's continual membership in the PDP. You need power to preside. And last message here. Let's see, who is this from? Kanem from Kuba says, good morning, Somi, great job. On the Youth Secretariat for the FCT, I think the youth in FCT deserve it. The argument that we have the Federal Ministry of Youth is not tenable. That is national. For FCT, we have mandate secretaries for education, agriculture, and so on. The argument would be, why have more mandate secretaries for these sectors and not for youth? It may be political, but the youth of FCT need a designated mandate secretariat to specifically address their needs. Thank you for that message, Kanem from Kubwa. Dr. Osang, I don't know if you've been following the conversation.
From the beginning.
Okay.
I missed nothing.
Okay, so let's have your take on this, and then we'll go back to the phone lines. Mazi says it's not necessary. All the existing ones we have, what have they achieved? And so why bring this one up? But let's get your thoughts on this.
Thank you. I think I have vast experience regarding this topic and, youth generally. And I want to also say here, for people who may not understand my standpoint on matters, that I have not always been like this, the way I am right now, the way I talk right now. But something has changed, and hence I talk this way.
Okay.
Now, I was the president, National Association of Crossriver Students, University of Lagos chapter. I was the one that led the youth, to besiege the Crossriver State Liaison Office in Victoria Island as a leader. I was also the one that saved the Vice Chancellor of UNILAC from I'm trying to lay a foundation now.
Yeah. I had saved, and so my eyes opened wide.
Yes.
Like, oh, wow,
yes.
okay.
Because a lot of times we talk here, a lot of people don't know our background, they don't know so much about us, and then they don't understand. I am saying this now so that you understand that I have been on the side of constant, being against everything about leadership. At those times that I'm trying to mention right now, there was nothing I needed from the leadership. All we wanted was what we want. We never brought in reason. Reason was not in our dictionary. If there was no light, we wanted light. We don't want any excuse. If there was no water in UNILAC, we wanted water. And I've been a parliamentarian from my year one in UNILAC up to the end. I was also the sports secretary for my department, and we broke record. Now, why am I saying this? I'm going to say this because everything Mazi said is correct, and all the opinion that we have harvested this morning so far, they are very good. But I want to bring the reverse to it. Okay. Now, someone said, is it political? Sir, it might be political. Why will it not be political when it is originated by a politician? Now, is it a good thing to do? Very, very good thing to do. The question about whether because of NSAS or aftermath of the last protest does not even come in. Why? If that protest was enough to bring us to this point, is very good. Now, what am I saying? Somi, one of the reasons why we have so much crime, I'm not one person that always attributes a matter to one particular factor. There can be several. Now, idleness and not having a stake in a matter. Now you have a stake in this studio, in this business, and you will not be one of those who want to rock the boat. Now, when the youth do not have a stake in governance, do not have a stake in what is going on, they see it as, let's spoil it, after waiting be our own. Now, what the FCT minister and the government have done right now is to give the youth a sense of belonging. Now, our appeal should now be to those youth in school to actually lead the youth very well and be apolitical. We also can appeal to the government not to use it as a political tool to woo young people into being on their side. Now, how can that be done? That can be done by bringing people from across board, from all religion, from all parties. It shouldn't be something that has to do with, you must have to be a particular, you have to be a member of a particular party for you to be relevant. I was involved in a project. I lead that foundation because I'm heading somewhere. Yeah. I was involved in a project in a village called Azumini. Iwu came in Akwa Ibom, Anambra State. In that place, if one calls that place at some point Sodom and Gomorrah, you may not be far from the truth. Now, what happened is that we had these communal clashes within the periphery. So all the young people, they ran into that place for solace, and then crime was on the rise. I don't want to mention anything on radio because it's not nice for the ears, but it was bad. And some of us, by God's help, we decided that, okay, we can actually do something. We brought up all the young people together and we're trying to counsel. It was a counseling session. And that led us to bringing them for empowerment program like soap making, liquid making, computer, basic computer skills. Do you know what happened? Between that period and up to date, it's on record. Anyone that is from Azumini who came should go and, prove me wrong or right. That those young people became self-conscious. They now found that they were relevant, because one thing that makes someone feel that he's nothing is when you don't care. Even your children, if you don't show them love, they feel they don't matter. And whenever they get that love, they don't manipulate on a negative side. If you don't teach your children certain things at home, they will learn it from someone else. So those young people started feeling, we are together. And we told them that this act, drug, stealing, will end them nothing. And that we were worse. And Somi, do you know that some of them came to us, confessed some things that they didn't owe us, some things that happened in the past, and made, some made restitution, and some made a vow that they will not go there, and promised that whosoever whosoever wants to go contrary, they were going to report to us, so we can report to the government authority.
So you believe that this youth secretariat can achieve this?
I believe that what we need in FCT and in Nigeria generally is to make our youth feel loved, make them have sense of belonging, make them benefit from dividends of democracy. And how can that be done? Is to amass all these skills that Mazi mentioned on some people into usable skills. It's not to train them and don't give them equipment. Now, if someone is so good, all the person needs is to, have that, what do you call it now? A stepping stone. You have a stepping stone.
Right.
Yes. Now, you train someone. He talked about photography. You said today is a World Photography Day. When my cousin was going into photography, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because my sister told me that, so on our watch, I don't want to mention his name. Photography in this Nigeria, that boy now is richer than me.
Wow.
Yeah. So what am I saying? I'm saying that this youth secretariat, their role should be for the monitoring and putting all the youth together for what government should do. I will suggest also what I think the government should do. I also suggest that the government, at this point, should not just create a secretariat where those people at the secretariat will just be smiling home to the bank, building houses. That secretariat should be like a watchdog to what programs and projects the government want to implement for the youth. And such programs should be website designing, every form of youth empowerment. Like if someone is learning photography, train them with the latest state-of-the-art facility, expose them to the latest skills and all of that. And whatsoever. Sir, he mentioned Olympics. In the last Olympic, we didn't do well. We could have done better. Do you know why we didn't do well? There are so many options or provisions, out there. It is because we left those things that were the nursery for our sports, like inter-house sport, inter-school competition, and all those debate. Now, thank God for Nigeria Info bringing debate. When I hear these students speak, and even still find a place to criticize their English, I weak. It tells you that it can be better. Yeah. But me and Mazi could not have done that well. Especially with the diction, the good English those students speak. So I'm saying this because such things like inter-school debates, we used to have this literary and debating clubs where we do debate, we do current affairs. Yes, one school is going to compete in another school with current affairs. Then you harvest talent. During that inter-house sport, you will see talent, children that can run from age 8, 9, and then you can probably begin to pick them. My daughter was asking me, Daddy, how did they select people that are going to Olympic? I said, let's leave the answer. The answer is that the selection probably may not be properly done. If you select this because you know Mazi and they bring you on board, maybe someone that is better than that person, there's something is wrong. We can go back to the basis, get this corrected. Is it a good time to do it? Is it late? Well, it's better late than never. Like someone said, why is it just now? Why not now?
So again, I mean, while we're getting into all of the conversation, well, thank you for your viewpoint, Dr. Usangforgod. But the question still remains. Because you have youth in as the overriding name of this particular thing, it sounds like, it's a really good thing to have in place. But what really, let's even drill down, what is the role or the function of a secretariat? What is a secretariat? So when they say youth secretariat, what are they saying? That's to both of you. What are they saying? Because let me quickly read out before we get to those responses. Let me quickly read out here what we are seeing the mandate secretary of the secretariat say that they are going to do. Let's see now. Okay. So he says, this is Mr. Abdullahi, saying that the Secretariat will soon come up with the first ever youth development policy document, right? And he said this while explaining that he was trying to explain the rationale for the policy. He says it will aggregate issues facing youth across the FCT. And the purpose is to set guidelines for delivery of programs and projects related to youth development. When you hear it at first, it sounds very lofty in its in the description. But is it a secretariat that will deliver these things to the youth, really? So if we go by what a secretariat really is in terms of governance.
I agree with my brother on most of the things that he said. But you see why I have problem with when we create such offices. There is no state governor in Nigeria that doesn't have an office or essay on youth. Even the president, the past that we've had from Chief Obasanjo down to today, you have a special advisor on youth. You create this youth.
That's true.
Does not work. Sumi, Are you aware if you are going to bank now to open an account, you have to fill one form that is asking you if you are doing crypto or digital currency stuff? Now, I had to help somebody update the person's account, because she's not, let me say, literate. I had to help her fill some of the forms. And I was now asking, why are you asking for all these things? What does that mean? If you tick yes, their eyes will be on that account. The people that one of the reasons why they don't want this crypto, which is digital currency transaction today, is what? They felt like the people who sponsored the past protest, it was through that means that they brought funds. I do not understand. So is it everybody who buys crypto or does crypto business that is anti-government? You understand? I'm not in any kind of criminal destiny. Okay, I may like to buy, let's say, shares. I can pick one firm, the one I recommended one time, get their app. If I like your Nigeria Info, your share, I can buy. Does that not mean that anybody who maybe, let's say, Osam from his own stock account released 500,000 to this sister to do something about protest, buy drink for people who have, and then everybody who is buying stock that you're now anti-government or you're fighting government? I do not think that this I insist that we don't need this secretariat. You already have an office that is going to handle this kind of job. And you left that one lying follow. If not today, I didn't even know that you are the one that opened my eyes that we had an office like that.
Social Development Secretariat.
We didn't know. What are they doing? The Ministry of Sports that you talked about, there are programs that it looks like you will deliberately, just like the Inter Sports that you mentioned. We had a debating society that you said. We had Jet Club or Science Club in those days. How many schools, public schools, that you go there and you see a functional library? So,
Mazi, you're saying all these great.
If you want to help youth, to me, go to this science school now that is in this place. You spend money to build a gigantic religious house, a science school that is close to my town, they call it, and you go there. How is their science lab? Yeah. How is their library? Okay, let's take some calls. Hello.
For the first time, I'm going to agree to Mazi completely.
Anti-tyrant.
For the first time, I'm going to agree with you completely, 100%. Because, honestly, you took 1 hour
Calm down. You're coming down, Auntie Madam Tara.
Auntie Tara.
We know ourselves.
You know, like we don't talk with you, we will not say anything today. Look at the time.
Is that what you call?
So, are you in agreement or are you not in agreement?
I agree with Maz because what he said is true. Let me tell you, before that protest in AIT, I watched a guy. His name is Yakub or Yusuf or whatever. There was this guy now that they said the DSS said that they don't have him. Police said that they don't have him. That we had they were kidnapped after 2 days of that protest. The guy was there in AIT together with this guy. This guy called Yusuf or Yakub was talking for the minister and the president, saying that it's an indigene. Because what is going on now? They are using that indigene now to get this youth. At the end of the day, like you see what it will happen. They will not turn to talk. That secretariat that they're talking about, as far as I'm concerned, with what that guy said that day, he was threatening that guy in the studio. Even what is this her name? This woman that was according that day was asking him and saying, "Are Nigerians truly not suffering?" I mean, what do you think that they would do if they don't go for this strike and all those things? And the guy was threatening that they can't enter Abuja. They are the indigenous of Abuja for the first time that the president has given them a Ministry of State or whatever that they have got this. So you understand? And I told people that were watching it, I said, "Is this guy normal? Did he say Burukutu?" They say it's not Burukutu, madam.
Okay.
More than that.
Okay, madam Tara.
Talking and threatening on national television, AIT.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that you see this thing that they're doing now, it's 2027 lady. It's unfortunate that they cannot talk about now to 2027. They are talking about 2027 forward. That is what they are doing there.
All right, Madam Tara.
At the end of the day, those young guys that you see that they will recruit there, they'll use them for talks. I'm telling you, they want to win Abuja. They want to win SCT.
All right, Madam Tara. All right, thank you. We need to make room for another call very quickly. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Somi.
Yes, welcome very quickly, sir.
This is Abuja.
Abuja. Welcome. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. The FCT having a ministry of a mandate for youth.
Youth Secretariat.
I think for me, this is just political calculation.
Hello?
For 2020, they are creating I think the reason why such a mandate needs to be created when we already have the ministry for the.
Okay, Abuja, your network is not friendly this morning, and we need to go on that quick break. Let me see any messages here. Good morning, Somi and the guest. The creation of the mandate secretariat for the youth in FCT is a good one. My fear is that it has political undertones and will be hijacked by politicians to seek popularity during elections. Hence, the funding will be coming from the government in power. The activities of the secretariat will not be neutral. Remember that the man that plays the piper dictates the tone. Chima Fumapo. We'll come back after this.
And excellence. NNPC Limited is looking for young talents and result-oriented experienced professionals to make valuable contributions to NNPC.
This is Nigeria Info.